Honour. Obviously, Federico hasn't travelled. He has been added to the Champions League squad, though. So, what's the situation with him?
Yeah, he got a little niggle, I think is the word you use here in England. So, in the last game against Palace, so he tried it today. He was on the pitch in the beginning, but he couldn't end the session. So we decided not to take him because in a few days it's Chelsea again.
The obvious answer is a win, but also in terms of the performance as well. What's the key element that you're really looking for in terms of a reaction to the disappointment of Saturday?
I think we always have to do, no matter if we win, lose or draw, what is asked from you if you want to compete for trophies, but let alone if you wear the Liverpool shirt, and that is giving everything you have and combine that with the best football you can play. And I think, especially in the second half, we created during the course of the game against Palace more chances than we've created in all the 3 games we've played before against Palace. But we conceded also much more chances than we did before when we played Palace. So we can definitely improve on a few things. And the things we can improve, I will show tonight. Not to you, by the way, but to the players.
Öncelikle Türkiye'ye hoş geldiniz. Karar Gazetesi Furkan Uzun.
Oh, sorry.
Türkiye'ye hoş geldiniz. Karar Gazetesi Furkan Uzun. Hoca belki de dünya futbol tarihinde bir rekora imza atıyor olabilir. Şöyle ki 2021 yılından bu yana Feyenoord ve Liverpool'la 170 maçta öne geçti. Bunların 143'ünü kazandı. Sadece 8 yenilgisi var. Yani totalde 170 maçta öne geçip kaybetme oranı %4. Buradaki bu kaybetme oranının bu kadar düşük olmasının temel faktörü nedir? Bir de yaz transfer döneminde Liverpool çok önemli yıldız oyuncular kadrosuna kattı. Hücum anlamında Ekitike ve Isak gibi. Galatasaray'ın da bir süper yıldızı var. Osimhen Galatasaray'ın transfer gündemine, Liverpool'un transfer gündemine gelmiş miydi? Alternatifler arasında mıydı? Değilse neden gündeme gelmedi? Teşekkür ederim.
Those were a lot of questions. I wasn't aware of it. He told me that in 170 games that I'm managing now, most that we came 1-0 up or 2-0 up, that we won those games. What's the reason behind it? Yeah, the reason is always quite simple. I've been really fortunate to manage 2 very good clubs, 2 very good teams that are always playing in the top end of the table. So yeah, the players always make the difference. I don't know who asked, but that helps, of course, by winning so many games if you go 1 or 2-0 up. Yes, we've added 2 number 9s. How should I say this in the right way in English? Unfortunately is not the word I should use, but because of an enormous tragedy that happened with Diogo Jota, in the end we had to bring in 2 number 9s. We always thought we were going to replace Darwin Núñez with 1 number 9, but in the end we had to replace, not replace is not a good word, so I'm sorry if I don't use the right words, but we had to bring in 2 number 9s, and we're always looking for very good players, but it was always clear to us that from the start we wanted to bring in these 2 if we needed to.
At the front here. Yeah. You.
TRT Spor Serdar Kelleci. Topa sahip olan bir Liverpool izliyoruz genel olarak. Ama Liverpool setlerinin özellikle Bradley'nin backstopper arasına yaptığı koşular, Ramberg'in oraya doğru kanalize olduğu, ama bunların set sayılarını çok fazla göremediğimiz bir Liverpool izliyoruz özellikle bu sezon. Glasner gibi hocaların Liverpool'un defolarını ortaya çıkarttığını düşünüyor mu? Bu ileride Liverpool'a bir sorun olarak geri dönebilir mi?
Now we don't play football to have possession. We play football to create chances and to score goals. And in most games we've played since I'm here, and I think that's the situation as long as Liverpool exists, they have more ball possession than the other team. And sometimes the other team doesn't bother. They are completely fine with the fact that we have more ball possession than them because they just defend really strong. And in modern football, it's more and more complicated because all teams are managed so well, are so fit it's getting harder and harder to play through. And that's why we decided also to bring in good attackers, good players that can play in the front four, that can help us unlocking those low blocks. But that's never easy, not for us, not for any team in the world.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rezan Yetiş, Ekol Sport. Galatasaray'ın Frankfurt yenilgisi öncesi 5 gol yediği son maç Beşiktaş'a karşıydı ve o karşılaşmada hocanın yardımcı antrenörlerinden Van Bronckhorst Beşiktaş'ın hocasıydı, Beşiktaş'ın teknik direktörüydü. Şunu merak ediyorum, yarınki maç öncesinde Van Bronckhorst'la birlikte bir analiz gerçekleştirdi mi veyahut Van Bronckhorst bu karşılaşma ile ilgili kendisine bir takım bilgiler verdi mi? Teşekkürler.
Giovanni van Bronckhorst is one of my assistant coaches, so he's part of the setup if we discuss and talk about the team we face, if that is Palace or Everton or Atletico Madrid, or in this situation Galatasaray. So he has knowledge about Turkish football. He knows these players, some of them that we're going to face tomorrow, maybe better than the rest of the staff does, because we've not worked in this league, we've not played against them. But in modern football, there are so many videos, you can watch so many games that every manager, even if you haven't worked here, know a lot about the other team. So yes, we've used Gio, as we've used the other assistant coaches as well. And that was a very special evening for him. They won the Super Cup, if I'm correct, in that evening. So special. He's known for winning a lot of trophies, Gio, in Holland, and he did this here as well. What was your other question? Their loss against Frankfurt. Yeah, I've watched that game, and for me they were very, very, very, very unlucky in that game. The chances they gave away were only small, and it was either the quality of Frankfurt or a little bit of bad luck for Galatasaray that they conceded 5. Because if the same game, they play the same game again, they will never, ever, ever concede 5 goals again in that same game, because they played much better than the 5-1 showed. And that's also what you see now in the beginning of the season here in Turkey. 7 wins, only conceded 2, if I'm correct. Scored a lot of goals, so a very, very good team with a very good manager that's been so successful over here as a player and as a manager. So they know what it takes to win the league, and they know what it takes to win a game of football. So we have to be prepared for that.
Ian.
Good evening, Arne. I know you've changed your fullbacks from last season, but at the start of last season you kept 6 clean sheets in your first 10 games. So far you've kept 2 clean sheets in your first 9 games. How would you analyse your defence this season?
No, I almost like that you asked me this question, because for me defending is only a small margin defenders. So I think one of our strengths was that we kept the other team away from our goal a lot. And that normally doesn't start with your defenders, that starts somewhere else. And if you then just look in it more detailed, we've conceded 4 goals from set pieces. So yeah, we've changed our fullbacks, but we've changed a bit more than only our fullbacks. And the goals we've conceded, I should look back at it in detail, but the first thing that comes to my mind is not that the fullbacks are our problem. It's always been a team performance last season. I said this many times. The reason why we hardly conceded is that 11 players work incredibly hard to make it difficult for the other team to even create a chance. And that's what we've done this season many times as well. But you can work as hard as you want, but a set piece is almost a different game inside the game. That was, by the way, that would have been maybe an even better question. That was one of our main strengths last season, that we hardly conceded from set pieces. So we have to go back to that. We haven't changed our setup. We haven't changed anything. So we have to prove in the upcoming weeks and months that we were maybe a bit unlucky in conceding some set pieces. Because that can happen in 5 or 6 games. Difficult to see it for the long term. But this is something we have to We definitely have to improve because I also see teams in the Premier League that win games by set pieces, and we lose games because of set pieces.
James?
Arne, just in terms of how intimidating the atmosphere is going to be here tomorrow night, what does your team need to do differently to avoid gifting Galatasaray the initiative in the same way as Palace were allowed to be on the front foot so early on Saturday?
Yeah, that depends on what you mean with the initiative, because for me, Palace didn't have the initiative if you talk about ball possession, because even the first 8 minutes were perfectly fine for me, till we've conceded a corner, where you can debate, by the way, if it was a corner, yes or no. So you have to answer to the fact why I got a yellow. And then we conceded a corner, and then we've conceded too much chances, but it wasn't because they had the initiative, it was because they counter-attacked us a few times really well. And we lost the ball in positions where we shouldn't lost it. So we have to do much better than this. I'm not sitting here telling you we played a good first half. I'm not telling you that having initiative in a game is something that is worth a lot. No, if you have initiative, it should lead to chances, and it should definitely not lead to conceding chances. But it wasn't that they were all over us. They counter-attacked us a few times really well, and we didn't do as well as we had to do. And they played a few times the ball into our last line where they won the second ball, and that is something we need to improve. But Galatasaray is a completely different team to Palace, but also a team that's very hard to beat, similar to Palace. 18 games without a loss, Palace. This team have won the first 7 games in the league. So that means that they are mentally also strong for difficult moments. If you win a lot, then you're also mostly mentally a bit stronger. So a very difficult team to face, but with a lot of qualities. But you cannot compare these teams. One is playing 5-4-1, the other one is playing 4-3-3. So different players, different manager, different formation.
Last question here, please.
Ferhat Kızıltaş, az önce kendinize dile getirdiniz. Galatasaray geçen sezon attığı 91 golün 24 tanesini penaltısız duran toplardan atmıştı. Geçen sezon Şampiyonlar Ligi'nde duran toptan yediğiniz golü hatırlamıyorum. Çok başarılıydınız ama bu sezon 4 tane gol yediniz. Galatasaray'ın duran toplarında Gabriel Sara gibi çok kritik bir oyuncusu var ama İlkay Gündoğan transferi sonrası kendisinin zaman zaman yedek kulübesinde görüyoruz. Gabriel Sara'nın yarın oynamaması sizin için bir avantaj mıdır? Teşekkür ederim.
No, I think you already gave the answer. We've shown that we are a team that can defend set pieces really well. But more and more in football, you see it becomes more and more a set piece game. And I know that set pieces are a part of football, but I watched Brentford Man United on the way up to Palace, and I saw, I think, 25 minutes of that game, and I think it was 20 minutes long throw-in, set piece, long throw-in, set piece, corner kick, goal kick. Goal kick is not a set piece, by the way. So this is the style of football you see more and more, in my opinion, mainly in the Premier League, and there's a reason for me why it's even more done in the Premier League than other leagues, because in the Premier League you can do much more. You can attack a goalkeeper, for example. You can even touch him, and then it's not even a foul. This is something everybody likes about the Premier League, but in Europe this is definitely a bit different. But we knew that Galatasaray is also strong in set pieces. But I can tell you that we've been a force in set pieces last season. We won our last Champions League game because of a set piece. We scored the 3-2 with Virgil. We were very, very, very close of scoring one against Palace. So yeah, every team you face at the moment, you have to be so well prepared when it comes to set pieces. So back in the days when I was still playing, we only talked about football. And there was not even a set-piece coach, let alone there was a set-piece meeting. Nowadays, set-piece meetings take just as long as the tactical meeting or the preparation for the game, football-wise. So that tells you the importance of we give to set-pieces, and I think every team around Europe gives to set-pieces.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Hugo, good to see you. 8 games into your Liverpool career, 5 goals, 1 assist. How do you feel you're settling in, and what more is there still to come from you?
I think I settled well. Obviously, I had a good adaptation. The boys, the staff, everybody in the club helped me so much to adapt to this new environment. So, yeah, I would say everything goes well, and you know how football is. You need to keep going and stay consistent.
When you arrived as well, Alexander Isak wasn't here. He has arrived now. How has that impacted you? How do you view the competition that you have for places? And if you were to play in the same team together, how do you think is the best way it would work?
Good question. I think, it's good, we play in such a big club. I can't see one big club playing just with only one striker. So I think it's good that is here, even for me, at my age, I think I have still a lot of things to improve and learn. So for me, it's good that he's here. And yeah, that's the coach to decide how he want to play. That's not me, but obviously, it's great players. I've been playing with in two striker composition, one striker, so I can do a lot of things. And if we have to play together, I can do that.
If there's been one downside to your time at Liverpool so far, I'm guessing it's probably the second yellow card against Southampton. How do you look back on that incident now, particularly as it made sure that you missed the game against Crystal Palace at the weekend?
I think that wasn't smart. Obviously, I punished myself alone, I would say. So I felt a bit disappointed to watch the boys from home the last Saturday. But as I said, I apologize to everybody already, to all my teammates. That kind of thing won't happen again. And I just move on now. I'm just looking forward to play and just focus on football.
TRT Spor Serdar Kelleci. Arne Slot'un kendisinden istediği en önemli görev nedir? Ben onu soracağım. Çünkü sürekli blok arasında, yani rakip blok arasında konumlandığını gördük Liverpool maçlarında. Buradaki hocasının ona en çok önerdiği ya da tembihlediği nokta nedir? Genel olarak Liverpool performansı üzerinden soruyorum soruyu. Teşekkür ederim.
Honestly, the coach didn't talk a lot about my way to play or where I need to play. He gave me a lot of freedom in terms of being able to link up with the boys or go behind. I can do a lot of things. He just want me to bring my football in the team. So yeah, he didn't say much about that.
Lewis. Hi, Hugo.
Hi.
There's quite a few clubs interested in you this summer, Newcastle, Man United. What was it that made you pick Liverpool?
It's just the best choice, it's the champion of England. For me, they had great players, great history. It just fit with what I was looking for after Frankfurt. So, yeah, I think it was the good choice for me. Yeah, that's why I choose Liverpool. It's just the best option, and I want it to come.
Just at the back there, Lewis.
Öncelikle Türkiye'ye hoş geldiniz. Karargası Furkan Uzun. Geçen sezondan bu yana Ekitike'nin isabetli şut yüzdesi Premier Lig, Bundesliga ve Avrupa Ligi'nde baktığımız zaman %50'ye yakın. İsabetli şut yüzdesinin bu kadar yüksek olmasının nedeni nedir? Yani çalışma mı, yoksa vuruş tekniği mi, ya da başka bir şey mi? Teşekkür ederim.
I think last season, in the first part, I was obviously I was starting a lot in Frankfurt 11, almost all the games, and I see that I didn't shoot many times during games because I was just being more a playmaker, I would say, and I think I needed to be more dangerous. That's what I'm still trying to be, to be even more dangerous than I am right now. You know, to always bring danger in defense, and I think that's why I shoot most. I don't really have particular technique, you know, or something to say about that, but yeah, I just try to be dangerous.
At the back.
Compared to last season, Liverpool give too much space to opponents. For instance, we saw in Crystal Palace match. Do you think it will be a problem against Galatasaray?
Every game is different, you know. Premier League, Champions League games different. I think tomorrow is going to be a tough game. Playing here in Galatasaray, away from Liverpool, it's difficult, but I can't really say much about that, you know. It's the start of the season. Obviously, we have to still find connection and to adapt to each other. So I think in time it will be better, but I'm confident.
Just up the back there.
Hugo, hello. Can you just talk to us about your start? I think it's 5 goals in 10 games. So did you expect it to go as well as it had? And just in terms of you playing Champions League, I know you've played Champions League with PSG before, but how do you feel about doing it at the level for the whole season? This is your time, I suppose, what you want to achieve?
To say I knew I would perform like that, no, but that's what I expected. I work for that, so obviously I'm happy that it works, and I just want to keep going and do even more for this team. And sorry, what's the second question?
Playing in the Champions League. I know you played for PSG before, but as a starter, you want to play every game now, and how you feel about performing at this level.
Yeah, obviously when I played first Champions League with PSG, I was young, I was on the bench, I was more watching. So I would say now it's my time, being someone who counts in this team, you know, to help the team to reach success in Champions League, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'll give 100% of myself.
Just the last one there. Thanks.
Hi, Hugo.
Hi.
You mentioned PSG. I was wondering, because you've started so well at Liverpool, I was wondering if the experience of stepping into that environment at PSG, because obviously you had Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, that was the step up. Did that sort of prepare you for this step up now at Liverpool?
For sure. In certain way, you know, they gave me lesson in PSG. I was playing with the best players, maybe one of the best players in the history. So obviously it was a lesson for me, and obviously being here today with Liverpool playing, and for me it's a great thing, and I just want to show that I learned a lot from this time, and that now I'm able to make a difference for my team, for my club.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Every word Mikel Arteta said about Arsenal's victory over Newcastle, Gabriel's handball, Arsenal's goal, and that late penalty decision. Mikel Arteta faced the media after Arsenal's hard-fought win over Newcastle United in the Premier League. It took 2 late goals, from Mikel Merino and Gabriel Magalhaes, to seal the victory, ending a tough run of results at St James Park and bringing the Gunners within 2 points of Liverpool. After a frustrating penalty decision was overturned and a goal from Nick Woltemade was confirmed, it seemed like time was running out. But Arsenal dug deep and delivered a dramatic, yet well-deserved win when it mattered most. Arteta was full of pride and emotion after the final whistle, praising his players' mentality and resilience. How does it feel to finally get the result you deserved, especially after recent games where you dominated but didn't come away with the win? It's an unbelievable feeling. This is what football is all about. When a team gets what it truly deserves at the end, there's no better reward. We've been on the wrong side of these moments too many times. Today, we earned every bit of that result. When VAR was checking Gabriel's moment in the box near the end, what was going through your mind? Well, I saw it live and it looked pretty clear and quick to me, so I didn't think they'd overturn anything. But with what happened in the first half with the penalty decision, I honestly wasn't sure. Regardless, I'm extremely proud of the team, how we played, how we competed, how we responded to really tough moments and still found a way to win. With so many highs and lows in a match like that, how do you even begin to analyze what really happened out there? You have to accept that this is the type of game you have to play in this league. Some things are unpredictable, lineups, formations, but others are crystal clear. You need to fight, stay composed, and take your chances. From start to finish, we did exactly that. And beyond that, we added quality, real quality, throughout the pitch. Mentally, what did a performance like that mean for your players after everything they've faced this season? We talked about needing to learn from the past if we want to reach the next level. We've had tough moments here before, and today was another chance to show what we've learned. This was a big game, in a crucial week for the Premier League. After the adversity we faced earlier this season, we showed exactly who we are and who we want to be. What was your take on the Gioca's penalty decision? And how impressed were you with how the team responded? I watched it live and again on the big screen, and for me, that's a penalty. We've been told clearly this season that unless it's a clear and obvious error, VAR won't intervene. That wasn't the case here. But again, the key is how we reacted. The team stayed calm, composed, and emotionally in control. That's something we've learned from past experiences. With Liverpool dropping points yesterday, did that add pressure or motivation for today's result? Of course, there are key moments in a season where the opportunity is right there. Yesterday was one of those. And we had to come here, to one of the hardest places to play, and get the job done. That shows what this team is made of. Your substitutes made a massive impact again. That seems to be a recurring theme lately. How important is that? Massive. We knew we'd need fresh legs and different solutions as the game went on. Every player who came on today contributed in a big way. Martin came in and was a threat from the first minute. Saliba stepped in at half-time and was outstanding. Martin, Degaard, was coming back from a long spell out and still managed to deliver 2 assists. And Mikel Merino gave us the moment we needed most. That's what you want from your bench, game changers. There was a bit of a moment between Gabriel and Woltemade after the goal. Did you see what happened there? No, I didn't catch that, sorry. Finally, do you feel like this result helped silence some of the criticism you and your team faced last week? I don't know about silencing critics, but what I do know is we faced Manchester City and Newcastle, 2 of the toughest teams in the league, and I believe we were exceptional in both games. That's my opinion, and I think it's pretty clear. Aftermath and implications of Arsenal's victory over Newcastle. The final whistle brought a mix of relief and celebration for Arsenal. Players embraced with visible emotion, fully aware of how significant this result could be, not just in terms of points, but in terms of belief. For Newcastle, however, the mood was very different. What had looked like a match under control ended in disappointment, frustration, and questions, tightening the title race. With Liverpool failing to secure all 3 points earlier in the weekend, Arsenal's late win pulled them within 2 points of the top of the table. It was a massive result in a weekend that could have widened the gap. Instead, it reopened the title race and reminded everyone that Arsenal remain firmly in the fight. This win also boosts Arsenal's confidence heading into the crucial next stretch of fixtures. In a season where momentum is everything, pulling off a comeback like this, away from home, in a high-pressure situation, sends a message to their rivals. They are not going anywhere. Newcastle's struggles continue. On the other side, Newcastle are left to reflect on yet another match where they couldn't hold on to a lead. Their performance, though solid in spells, was ultimately not enough. Defensive lapses in the final moments, combined with missed chances earlier, proved costly. To make matters worse, they suffered a potential injury to Tino Livramento, whose early exit raised serious concern on the bench. The defeat leaves Newcastle slipping further away from the top 4 conversation, and with key fixtures ahead, questions are beginning to mount about consistency and squad depth. VAR controversy and Gabriel's incident. The match was also marked by officiating controversy. One key moment came when Arsenal appealed for a penalty after Victor Gyokas was brought down in the box, only for the decision to be overturned after a lengthy VAR check. Mikel Arteta expressed his disappointment post-match, stating he believed it was a penalty and that the threshold for overturning decisions should remain consistent. Another flashpoint came after Gabriel Magalhaes scored and appeared to have a heated exchange with Nick Woltemade. The incident raised eyebrows, though nothing was officially reported by the officials after the game. It did, however, reflect the emotional intensity of the match, particularly in those final few minutes. Breaking the St. James Park curse. St. James Park has never been a particularly kind place for Arteta. In the past, both as a player and manager, he's endured difficult moments here. Last season's loss in this stadium was a turning point in Arsenal's title collapse, and those scars were still visible in his cautious tone pre-match. This time, however, his team showed character, maturity, and control. To come from behind and win in such a difficult environment marks a milestone for this group. It's not just another 3 points, it's a psychological breakthrough. The importance of squad depth. One of the most defining aspects of the match was the impact of Arsenal's bench. Substitutes made the difference. Martin Degaard, returning from injury, brought calm and vision. William Saliba, introduced at half-time, stabilized the defense. And Mikel Merino provided a presence in the box that eventually resulted in the equalizer. Arteta praised his players not just for their talent but for their attitude. The substitutes were fully focused and ready to change the game, and they did. In a long campaign where every point matters, having a reliable and impactful bench could be the difference between second place and the title. A shift in momentum. This win could mark a turning point. Not only has it allowed Arsenal to close the gap at the top, but it also helped bury some of the ghosts of past collapses. Arteta's team is proving that it can handle pressure, respond to setbacks, and remain composed under fire. For Newcastle, the road ahead looks more uncertain. Injuries, tactical inconsistencies, and emotional responses to key moments are beginning to weigh heavily. How they respond in the next few weeks will determine whether they can stay competitive or slip further off the pace.